What's your reaction to the way this weekend has gone?
You know, we haven't seen this number of shootings and, more importantly, people shot in some time. We had 74 shooting incidents last week with 101 victims. That means 101 people were shot on the streets of New York. This has to stop. It has to stop now. We have to stop listening to the crowds on the street and politicians that don't have the courage to have a common sense conversation. Politicians need to listen to the people in the neighborhoods that need us the most. People that are working in the shops, trying to go to work, living in the neighborhood, their children in the schoolyards. That's who we should be focused on, not saying things like defund the police. It's nonsense. We need common sense conversation, and more importantly, we need action from the police department to keep the folks in the neighborhood safe.
Well, while we're talking about a common sense conversation, what about meeting people partway in their concerns about some things that have been raised? I mean, where does that common sense conversation begin?
When you say we don't want police in the streets, that's not common sense. If you're saying look at your budget, find waste, and help the city, then that's common sense conversation. When you say defund the police and people's definition is different according to who you're asking for, that's nonsensical. You have to look at what's happening. Why are the shootings rising so high? Well, there's a number of reasons. Demonizing police, making us the enemy. Meanwhile, many of us remember the way the city was, and we did the work to bring it back. Emptying Rikers Island. Everyone in Rikers Island is not innocent, so we empty Rikers Island. Where do you think they go? They go back to the neighborhood where they used to do their business, and they set up on the street corners as well. We have elected leaders, our mayor, saying there's going to be a soft touch towards criminals and crime. Our criminals on the street heard that message, and they know the police are being held back, and they're going to go out and they're going to use their guns. We have the governor allowing cop killers out on parole onto our street.
All right, guys. So there's been a hell of an uptick in shootings, in murders. Most of these murders aren't even solved because guess what? Snitches get stitches, right? So they're trying to figure out. Well, in New York, there's been shootings all over. All right, we're gonna take a look. We're gonna take a look at a few places, but in New York. So this article was talking about like what's causing this violent spike. It's because the whole defunding the police movement. You know what I'm saying, that cops can't really do their job, and they're just letting criminals out of jail. They're just letting them out. They have a thing where it's catch and release. They catch you and then they release you after a period of time. So I just wanted to read. I'm just going to read a short part of this article. The surge in shootings. Police responded to 585 shooting incidents so far in 2020 as of July 5th, compared to 381 in the same time frame in 2019. Of the 585 shootings, 223 occurred over a span of 4 weeks in June and earlier July, even of which were on Staten Island. In 2018, the NYPD responded to a total of 750 shootings incidents. And in 2017, that number was about 790. If the gun violence continues at the same trajectory, it could be cause for concern. Throughout 2020, police on Staten Island had responded to 18 shooting incidents, as of July 5th, compared to 9 at the same time last year. All right, so let's go over to Atlanta. So Atlanta, look at what happened over the 4th of July weekend. There were 11 shootings in Atlanta during the 4th of July weekend. Out of 31 victims, 5 of them dead. And these are black people. So if Black Lives Matter, I can't tell because I don't see any protests for these people that are dying in the street. I don't see any protests for any of the people that are dying in the street. I wanted to play this video for you.
Killing was the start of a violent Saturday night. Here is a look at the shootings that followed throughout the city. At one point, 14 people shot while watching a fireworks display on Auburn Avenue. 2 of those victims died. Police say at some point a vehicle hit someone, which led to a fight between several people, and multiple people started shooting. For several weeks, people living in the Sweet Auburn neighborhood have asked police for help controlling large parties that pop up around there. APD said it would work to address those issues this weekend. 11 Alive's Caitlin Ross listened to a virtual Atlanta City Council meeting where both council members and members of the public had different ideas on how to address change.
People really want to be heard on this issue. The city council president announced there was 13 and a half hours of public comment, so they'd have to delay hearing the rest of the agenda until tomorrow.
We're now going to go into a moment of silence.
The start of the city council meeting was quiet as members honored people killed by gun violence over the weekend in Atlanta. The public comment section was anything but, with hundreds of people calling in to talk about the violence.
People are dying. People are being murdered.
This caller expressed support for the Rayshard Brooks bill that would reallocate $73 million from the Atlanta police budget to different community-based initiatives. There were a number of people who agreed.
Policing and public safety really needs to change in a major way here in Atlanta.
But others spoke strongly in favor of APD, saying officers are doing the best they can to stem the violence under difficult circumstances.
Crime in Atlanta has gone through the roof. This is insane if you think it's a good idea to defund the police. We are concerned and we do not support defunding the police.
That public comment will be playing continuously on the City of Atlanta website until 4 o'clock in the morning. City council members will then reconvene tomorrow to vote on that initiative that could reallocate some Atlanta police funding.
All right, so in Chicago, we got at least 64 shots so far in Chicago weekend shootings, including 11 deaths. Wow. Chicago gun violence spikes and increasingly finds the youngest victims. Chicago murders and shootings up. Yeah, this is crazy. Look, over the 4th of July weekend, gun violence. 79 shot, 15 fatal. Crazy. Where is Black Lives Matter? Where's Black Lives Matter? And most of these murders aren't even solved. Most of these shootings aren't even solved because of what? The hood code, right? The snitches get stitches, right? They want to say white violence is silence, but turn around and be like snitches get stitches. That's crazy. Look, Chicago shooting, 104 shot, 15 fatally over the Father Day weekend. That's crazy. If Black Lives Matters, I can't tell. All right, here's what I want everyone to do. Go to the Black Lives Matter website. Go to the About. what we believe in. This is easy. Anybody can do this. What we believe in. I'm not going to read it, but you can read it for yourself and tell me, after you're done reading it, tell me if you feel the same way. And if you do, well, if you think Black Lives Matter is something good for something good for like a good cause and for black people, and then you come to the site and you read it, tell me if you still agree. Just come. That's all you have to do. All right, that's all I have for you today. Please like, uh, comment, subscribe, and until next time.